All right.
I guess we'll find out.
Hey now.
Almost forgot.
The applause?
That's the applause.
Yeah.
Roaring applause.
Yes. Hey everybody, this is Johnny Beane. Welcome to Exclusively Van Halen, the weekly show and podcast. It is January 28th, 2022, 8:08 p.m. Eastern, 5:09 p.m. Pacific. How does that work? 6:09 Mountain.
Yep.
And here we are. What do we do? Hello?
Exclusively EVH.
Exclusively EVH. Yeah, it's the same show, you guys. It's just, well, I mean, it's the same program, but new name, and so it's even more exciting. So really quickly, let's say hello to our executive producers here on Johnny Beane TV. They are Dave Ennis, Vinyl Freak 5150, Mike Neese, Music Therapy Laz, Majestic PB and J Cat, Wayno, False Flag, Sherman Callahan, Andy Carson, Michael B, R Habs, Warlag, The Chad,
Yeah.
Lenny Lou and Mary, James Gum, John Moronic, Paul Martin Woods, Stephen Franklin. That's a lot of reading. Michael Smith, the Captain.
The captain, everybody, is the captain.
Thomas Santiago, Joe Christian, Jim Ray Hawkins, and Steve Carmichael. That is the top tier of channel members here on Johnny Beane TV, here on YouTube. If you'd like to become a channel member, click that join button right below the 20 thumbs ups. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. And we're live on Facebook, Johnny Beane TV Facebook page, where we have Facebook stars, a digital gift that helps in the production of these shows. We're basically live all over Facebook. We're live in my Van Halen group, Exclusively Van Halen, just under 63,000 members, EVH Gear Fans Live group and page. And what else? We're live.
You changed the name of the Facebook group. You did it, huh?
I did it, and nobody complained.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
4
Yeah,
clicks.
there was enough complaining already, but no.
People, they ran out of complaints. That's the complaint forms. You go to a business and it's like, oh, if you have a complaint or a comment, fill out the. You didn't leave a pad of those papers so nobody could complain. You know.
No, it's cool. It's cool. So we got Jay Hannon, of course, right down there. We got Kurt 5150, and Kurt, who do we have?
Oh man, Johnny, what an exciting night tonight. Of course, there's a common theme around these parts with what we talk about, what we feature. But tonight, we are blessed to have the one, the only, Howard Kaplan, formerly from Fender EVH tonight. Howard, thanks for joining.
Well, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
That might be the best intro to a guest that we've ever had on the show.
Whatever.
Kurt, thanks for the heavy lifting, because that's the hardest thing to do. That's the hardest thing to do is to,
Jay, thank you very much. We do have 50 people watching. Do you want to read who's in the chat already?
Oh no! Come on! We got a guest on tonight. We can't be taking these. Whatever.
It's probably Kurt with the C.
We're getting phone calls too. I'll take it off the air real quick.
All right, I'll do a quick roll call and then we'll get down to brass tacks here, everybody. So we got 7 over 8 is in the chat. I appreciate that myself. All Dave, all night. Browns fan, Cameron Brown, all the way from Scotland. A close personal buddy of mine. Christopher Live Sawa is here. Guitar for Akira is here. Janice Lala, Johnny Beane. Thank you, Johnny, for joining us. Keith Campbell, what's up, Keith? Kevin Cachell, Larry Christensen. Hey, Larry, what's up, man?
Larry.
Leo, what?
I was just saying hi to Larry.
Oh, Larry. Oh, I already said that. Leo Safko, Liquid Charlie. Hey, man, Liquid Charlie.
Oh, cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's from Europe, right?
Yep. Where did I leave off here? Majestic PB&J Cat, Mr. Nick, Nelson Rodriguez, Nightbot, R2R3 Locking Nut, Rick Green, Rock Daddy. We got Smitty here. Symmetry is in the chat. Steve Carmichael, Thomas Santiago, Thrash Mars, Tim Thomas, Tubin, Wayno, Zach Thong, and there's still more people jumping in. This is awesome. Janice Lala, James G, Dan Halen, and everybody else joining late. Well, it's not
Nerd
late.
Halen.
We're usually late. So.
Nerd Halen.
Nerd Halen is here. Nerd Halen. And everybody else. That's enough talking from me. I think it's time to get Howard,
Well, first, let me say hello to Peter Guzmano. He put a special hello to me.
Oh, awesome.
Hi, Peter.
Yeah, I talked with him occasionally we talk, but a lot of back and forth on the internet for many years.
Awesome.
Oh,
Is he
cool.
in the...
He just did a super chat.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, for $5. So thank you.
Oh, the
Peter.
Guitar for a Cure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
Right.
read that. Sorry, I didn't read the comment yet.
So Howard, you see probably a few themes in some of the names of the people in the chat. We're all crazy and dying to hear what you have to share with us tonight after Johnny gets off the phone.
Yeah, I know. How rude.
So we can just sit here in silence for the next 10 minutes.
Let's all leave. Just leave Johnny sitting by himself.
Well, I'll start off. I just basically want to start with how I got into the EVH game.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
I
Good
was
segue.
Living up in Seattle, and I worked for Fluke Electronics for many, many years, almost 18 years.
How long did you live in Seattle, Howard? Sorry.
24 years total.
Okay, I'm in Yakima.
You're in Yakima, okay.
I'm
cool.
in Yakima, yeah.
That was the last place we saw the sun when we moved there and we crossed the mountains. In
Oh,
March,
yeah. Yeah.
and crossed Snoqualmie, and then
Yep.
I think it was till almost June when we finally saw the sun.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, they get
When-
rain.
When I interviewed there, it was beautiful the whole time in December. Anyway, so I relocated to Seattle when I was 24. Worked at John Fluke Electronics for 18 years and another company for 5 or 6 years. I left. I was with Fluke for 14, left for 5, and went back for 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was in the Fluke Networks group, high tech stuff.
Yeah.
And 9/11 happened, and Seattle is a real high tech town.
Right.
A lot of guys got let go during that, right after 9/11, including me. So I was out on the street, couldn't get an interview for close to 2 years. So I took in a roommate because at that time I was living alone, and he was a guitar luthier for Fender. So I got a connection to Fender, and he wanted me to join forces with him and become an amp repair guy because
Wow.
people were always asking about amp repair.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and 4 or 5 months went by, and I wasn't getting any money. And I go, what's going on here? So I asked Brent. His name was Brent, and he said, don't worry about it. They'll take care of it. So I called down to Fluke. Fender. Don Wiggins, the head of the service group, and he said, well, Brent sort of owes us a bunch of money, so I suggest that you go on your own. So I got a license and I became a Fender repair center on my own.
Oh wow.
And I became a repair center for Marshall, Mesa Boogie, Houston Kettner, St. Louis Music, just a whole bunch of them.
So
did
back
that.
up real quick.
Okay,
Fluke,
go ahead.
were they doing stuff for Microsoft back then? Or
No, Fluke was like a company
Aerospace?
like
Oh, okay.
Hewlett Packard, benchtop high precision instruments.
Okay.
They were actually a secondary standard for the volt.
Okay.
So they were calibration type people, voltmeters, and I worked on automatic test equipment for calibrating voltmeters. And then I designed a frequency measurement device, to measure time and frequency.
And Jay, didn't you work in the electronics industry for a handful of years?
Yeah, but I worked at IBM, but I was on the manufacturing line, but I was not like
shipping and receiving.
It's not. No. I mean, I was working on the tools, but I wasn't one of the guys that was designing and changing things. It was just like running Yeah.
So I was a design engineer for the first 14 years. Then I left to go to a barcode company designing barcode scanners and stuff for 5 years. And then I got a call from a friend at Fluke, and they were starting up a new division, Fluke Networks, a startup.
Okay.
So I jumped in thinking, well, someday I'm going to be wealthy by doing this. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way.
Right. So switching over to the amps, was it just like switching over to the amps? Was that just a learning curve, or was it naturally the same
not really,
process?
Because early on in my career, which I didn't really touch on very much, I worked at Vox Thomas, designing in Chicago, designing keyboards and some rock and roll amp stuff, solid state back then.
Okay.
Nice.
So, and I was also, my whole life has been involved with electronics. I started fooling around when I was like 8. But I got into my teenage years, because I was really interested in music. I built a nice stereo system. I used to build kits for myself and for friends, and so
awesome.
I'm intimately familiar with electronics over the years. I was repairing televisions for my relatives to the point where it got to be too crazy, and I had to stop doing that because TVs would show up on our doorstep. It wasn't a big deal, and then jumping in the repair business, obviously I had to get familiar with the different companies besides Fender. So it was easy to do since I was always interested in electronics, and in college I studied tubes and solid state. Back then in the 60s, I graduated in 69.
69, dude. Yeah.
That was the transition period, the 60s, from going from tubes back to solid state.
Oh, wow.
Well, they taught that in college. They always were contrasting the two different types of designs. So I have a double E degree from University of Illinois in January 1969.
Wow.
Go Bears.
So and I went to work at Zenith Radio Corporation, who made televisions.
Yeah.
And
we might have had a Zenith when I was a kid.
Yeah, we had. Yeah, yep. I had one too.
I did, I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, I worked various jobs in the Chicago area, Thomas being the last one, Thomas Vox. And then I transitioned to move to Fluke in 1975. And then did the repair business. So I wound up in Phoenix here. They called me up and they wanted me to interview because they saw my resume, and I had told Don Wiggins I was interested in getting back into design, not just interested in repair. So I got an interview. They hired me on the spot. And I picked up and moved. So I got here in 2003, Labor Day.
Oh, cool.
And then for the first 5 years, I worked on Fluke amps. First amp I worked on was a Ultralight Jazzmaster, a high power digital type amp, 250 watts, 125 watts a channel. It was I had a dirty channel and a clean channel. So that was an interesting project. That took about 1.5 years. Then I did Princeton Reverb reissue, 65 Princeton Reverb, and a 57 Champ for Clapton, the Clapton version of the Champ.
Ooh.
And then I did another digital thing, the G-Deck Junior it was called. It was a pretty neat little amp, digital effects and everything. And then I got drafted to EVH.
Wow.
And at that time, Fender had already put out the 100-watt head, designed by one of the engineers there. And he didn't really like, it didn't work out well between the designer and Ed. They didn't get along. So I got drafted and I became the designer for the EVH program. started.
So
Go ahead.
Sorry, Howard. The guy prior to you, he did the first
The 100-watt head. He
the
did,
100
did a
watt
great
head.
job. Yeah,
And then you came in after
came after.
that. Okay.
Yeah, and the 100-watt head was, of course, going after the PV,
Right.
5152.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so the first project we started on was going to be a 50-watt combo with solid state output, because they wanted to try and make it a little cheaper because tubes are expensive. So we started down the path with the combo, and then the Van Halen group, they said they wanted to start with a head. They changed the direction. So I designed a 50-watt head with the solid state output, 3 channels. Channel 1 and 2 were shared. Channel 3 was separate, which I was sort of against, actually, because I thought 2 and 3 would be a better match in terms of the tone stack and stuff like that. And make channel 1 super clean, but he wanted channel 1 separate. And, he wanted 1 and 2 together. So that's what we went down, and we sent it down there for him to listen to. This was a solid state 50-watt output, and he thought it was great, but he just was hearing something a little weird he didn't like. So we tracked it down to the way the solid state amps distort. This was like a chip that you buy, a 50-watt monoblock or something like that. It distorted one direction more than the other, and he didn't like. He could hear it. He said, we got to switch it back to tubes. So we went back, and I took that board, ripped out the solid state thing, and put in a dual 6L6 50-watt amp using one of the output transformers that Fender already had in their repertoire. So, and he liked that. He loved it.
So, because this is one of the questions I was going to ask, but I might as well ask it now because you kind of mentioned it. So when you're designing an amp and you give it to the artist, like in this case, you're giving an amp to Eddie Van Halen to try out.
Yeah.
And he says he's hearing something. Now, when, obviously when somebody's listening to something and they're hearing a certain thing, when you have to figure out, okay, what is it that is causing what he's hearing? Because, sometimes as a, guitarist or whatever, we hear things, but we don't know how to describe or explain what it might be. Like, is it really hard to figure out exactly what the person is talking about? And then, okay, now how do we go about, where is that sound coming from and how do we go about fixing it?
That's the big question always, because I'm not a musician, but I've got a pretty good ear. And Ed was really good at explaining stuff like that, what he was hearing. And then he would demonstrate it, and I could hear it. So I'd go back.
When you heard what he was hearing, you were like, oh yeah, I know what's causing that.
Yeah. Like one of the biggest examples of this was after we had already introduced the 50-watt head, and he shreds really fast, and he would really, on channel 3, if he would just go crazy shredding, it would drop out like for a tenth of a second. The notes would just, he goes, why is it dropping out?
Wow.
So we took the amp back, and we had a guy there that could shred really fast. And I was watching the signal on the scope, and I could see when it was dropping out and what was going on. It turned out one of the tubes was saturating and cutting off, and immediately obvious what to do because it was capacity coupled that stage, and the cap was charging up and then cutting off that tube. So we took out the capacitor, made it direct coupled into that stage, and the problem went away. That was probably the most extreme. It took a while to find that.
Back up a little bit. When you were doing the solid state combo, this was probably around the same time, Johnny, where we saw the pictures where he had the Line 6 combo backstage, right? Or was that after?
When was that? 2007, 8?
2009, 9 is when I started working on this stuff.
Yeah, so we saw pictures of him.
It was after the 100-watt head was out.
Yeah. He was using a Line 6 solid state amp, like in the tune-up room. And we were all like, wow, that's weird that he's using a solid state amp. Yeah. So it makes sense that he wanted to make one.
Yeah. Marketing thought they could, make it work because you'd save a lot of money by doing that. And there was obviously a cost goal for a 50-watt head, and it just didn't work. He didn't like the way it sounded, so we turned the design
Get it out of
around.
here.
Yeah. The other issue was he was always real picky about channel switching speed.
Oh yeah.
You would want to go from 1 to 2 to 3, or mostly 2 to 3, without any kind of cutout.
Mhm.
So he was really picky.
Rapid
about
fire.
that. Okay, so the 100-watt head had discrete logic to do the channel switching from 1 to 2 to 3, which is there's no delay at all. There's a brief mute just so you don't get a pop, but it's not noticeable. So to do that in the 50-watt head, the logic was quite a bit of area on a circuit board. The 50-watt head was a lot smaller, and we didn't have a lot of circuit board area. So I figured, well, I'm gonna have to squeeze it in, or maybe do a daughter board. I didn't want to do that because that's more expensive. And I came down to, and the thing that sort of pushed me over the edge to change the approach was you have on the 50-watt heads, you have a push button for 1, 2, and a separate button for channel 3. So if you go to 3, you want to go back to the channel that you were in just before. So you needed a memory. You needed to memorize if you were on 2 or 1. You couldn't just go back to 1 as a default. So that required additional logic, and that pushed the design over the size that I could fit in there. So then I said, well, why don't we use a microprocessor? And he was anti-digital stuff, you know. So
Yeah.
we had to prove to him that we could make it switch quick enough, and he eventually he agreed that we did it, and we got MIDI for free, basically.
Wow.
So we had MIDI to the 50-watt head, and the 50-watt head also had we added resonance in because PV's patent had expired, and we could add resonance because the 100-watt head doesn't have resonance controls. The 100S has 3 resonance controls on the head. They all had presence, but PV had a patent on the resonance.
Yeah. I have the PV. That's I've had that for years, and I would just turn the resonance and the presence. I would just turn them all the way up.
Yeah, I was watching a shootout earlier with the PV 5152, the 100-watt head, and the new Iconic head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that this amp does not have resonance.
Was it the 2 guys? Was it 2 guys like side by side?
Yeah, well, he went to a it was 2 guys out because I watched
Tone Wars. I was watching them live actually when they did that. They were called Tone Wars.
Okay.
They did a pretty good job on that. And really quickly, False Flag has a question. Howard, maybe you've heard this one.
Off topic, obviously.
Train wreck.
You saved that for tomorrow night, False Flag. What are you doing?
Ever heard the time? You ever hear about Vince Neil biting Van Halen back in '84?
No.
I never heard that either.
No,
But
sorry,
False
didn't
Flag,
get that
thank
one.
you, man.
False
Mike
flag.
Tyson.
But yeah, the resonance in the 100-watt head was fixed. It was optimized for their cabinet, the 4x12 cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
The resonance is just a matter of changing series resistors in a feedback circuit.
Mm-hmm.
But it was nice when we added resonance, and the 50-watt stuff all have single resonance. The 100S has 3 separate resonance controls for channel 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit overkill, I think. But it has 3 presence controls too. But the 50-watt, they all have single presence, single resonance. So.
So let me ask you: was there ever a time where Edward would come in and say, "Here, I'm hearing something like this is weird" or whatever, and and where you guys like couldn't hear? Where you guys couldn't hear it? Anything that wasn't real noticeable?
Well, that one with the dropout, that was difficult to hear because you had to do super fast shredding, and I didn't play, but we had a guy there that was a shredding maniac, so he was able to make it reproduce.
And was that like was it like timed? Like was the dropout like every so many seconds or whatever?
No, it would drop out for like a quarter of a second, but it'll be after so many really fast shreds.
So it's probably something more noticeable when you're playing
Yes, absolutely.
than just sitting there in the room listening to it.
Right.
Listening, because you would think it was just the way they're
That
playing.
was probably the one example that was the hardest to find. Yeah. So, but it worked out in the end. And then we had to make that change through all the amps because it would show up on all of them, even the 50-watt stuff.
Mm-hmm. And what about the story? I don't know if you were there yet when they were making the amp and Edward would say that he would leave it on for like a month, turned all the way up.
That's the speed, the reliability test. But leaving an amp play music for a month, it's not that stressful of a test. There's better ways. We did better testing.
So what would be one of those ways that you would test something to make sure that it's going to last?
We had a room we called the Kaboom room, where we would really.
Jay has one of those.
Right behind that door is the Kaboom room here, man.
Yeah. So we just beat the hell out of the amp. All different kinds of power levels for weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, and the amps could take it. It's the speakers that you got to worry about. The amps,
So, but you wouldn't have like an amp full volume plugged into a speaker, like feeding back super loud, like for a month, would you? You can do that. You can look at levels and see that, not actually.
No.
Yeah.
But Ed said he would do that at 5150.
Yeah.
He would put a guitar up against it, leave it on, and then walk out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, we could do that with the Kaboom room. That was a good way to do it. But, all the amps went through all of the environmental testing. And I mentioned this to Johnny the other day. If you follow the boards, the bulletin boards, people are asking for stuff. Well, why don't you do this? Or why don't you do that? Because every time you make a change to an amp that's in production, you have to resubmit the amp for agency approval. A lot of people don't understand that. And every time you open up that file, it's like $10,000.
Oh man!
You have to prove that you haven't changed anything related to safety stuff. And the boutique amps don't have to go through all that because they don't have deep pockets in case they get sued for somebody that would get hurt from an amplifier for a safety violation.
So would it almost be easier to just come out with a new amp with
modifications
than?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Wow.
And I think I wrote that just a few days ago on one of the boards because it's better to take those ideas and put them into a new product or an iteration of the product. Like when we went from the 50-watt head and we did the combo series. So there were some things we did in the combo series that, paved the way for newer stuff. Actually, the first combo was the start of the S version, the higher gain, channel 2 and channel 3. So that happened in the 50-watt 6L6 combo first. And then after we did introduce that one, we decided to do the 100S. That's the stealth version of the 100-watt head, which is dark, and it's got the 3 resonance controls, the higher gain, external bias, all that stuff.
So when you're designing an amp and somebody's like, okay, this is what I want, but it has to be under this price.
Yeah.
Is that really like, oh man, how are we gonna do that? There's no way possible that we can make this amp what they want for this price.
Yeah.
So where does the cutting come in? Where does the
Well, I didn't have to do too much of that because, the first 50-watt head hit the cost target. Actually, it was built. We started in Vietnam. A lot of people don't know that. The first bunch of amps that were built came from Vietnam, and they wanted us to buy. The company wanted us to buy like a half a container full of amps. That's a lot of amps. So we were worried that if something went wrong in production, we would have a lot of rework to do. So in parallel, we had Ensenada, the Mexico factory, come up to speed and be able to build that amp. And we never went back to Vietnam. We just transitioned.
Fender owns that the Mexican or the Mexico.
Oh yeah. That's where everything is built.
Yeah,
except for the American-made Strat. I don't think there's many amps built up there anymore. some of the hand wired stuff might still be built up in Corona. What happened?
Let's look at some of these.
What happened there? Somebody brought up
Yeah.
a screen.
Oh yeah.
That's,
I brought up.
That's Johnny,
I brought up this.
the man
screen
behind the
of
curtain.
Okay.
That's a great
Okay. All right. So there's the 100S there, right? That's an S. That's black.
Yes. Yes.
Yep, 100S. Yep.
Yeah.
We did so before we did the S. We did the two combos, the 2x12 and the 1x12 50-watt combos. And they added variable power, which was a pretty difficult thing to design. And from 1 to 50 watts, it had a variable power control, and it had reverb, a digital reverb built in. So
There we go.
That's what this. That's an EL34 version, the gold stuff. Let's see, there it is.
So like one of those.
That's one of the later 6L6 versions of the combo. You notice the
Mhm.
dual controls there.
Mm-hmm.
That was an issue that I alluded to earlier. When I first tested the 50-watt head, and we went from channel 1 and 2, channel 1 to 2, the volume would jump way up. And I thought that was a bad idea.
Kurt has the "I wish I had one" version. He just I don't know if you saw it,
Yeah.
but Kurt held up the "I wish I had one of those amps." But I
Look how
only
thin it
got
is.
the
This
mouth.
is the travel version.
Probably real life, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so we did the two combos without the dual controls, and the first heads didn't have the dual concentric controls. The first amps that had the dual concentric controls were the EL34 amps, the combo and the head,
So
because
like
we kept getting complaints about the volume jump. Like
So
there's
like
one
over-
without dual. Well, that has dual, yeah, but they're black. So what I did to do that is I designed an auxiliary board. The main where the dual controls are on a separate board.
mm-hmm.
That way I can make. Matter of fact, I have one of the.
Oh.
You can see this.
Yeah.
This is the dual control board. It actually set in on top of the other controls. So one's gain, one's volume, but they're concentric. So by doing this, we were able to offer a kit to retrofit older 6L6 heads and combos. So that was a good idea to do that.
Nice.
So let me regroup my thoughts here. So between the 100S, we started work on the first lunchbox amp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was a channel 2 and 3, 15 watt, super small EL84 based power amp.
Hey, we have over 100 watching right now. Everybody like and subscribe and thumbs up and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
So on the lunchbox series, we did the first
There it is.
one, which was 15.
Is that a later one?
That's a later one. That's an S.
See. Oh, it was this one right here.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
It had channel 2 and 3, shared tone stack, 15 watts, no bias adjust. And then that was the LBX1, the 15 watt version. And then we did an LBX2, which is channel 1 and 2. I believe it was 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did the S version, which is the one that's backlit. It's all black.
Oh,
It has 1 and 3.
Like
So-
that.
right there.
That's showing it in channel 3, black. If you put on channel 1, it's green backlit.
That's pretty cool.
That was the last
Yeah.
lunchbox that I worked on. And actually, I worked on this along. When I was approaching retirement, I had already decided I was going to leave after this amp was done.
Mm-hmm.
And they hired, they were looking for a guy to replace me, which everybody knows now is James Brown from the original PV group.
Mm-hmm.
And then a young guy, Alexander Shabilsky, who's lived and breathed tubes. So he got up to speed on this amp along as he came into the group. So, and then
Well,
in
Shabilsky-
parallel, James was working on the iconic stuff. which
Awesome.
was just introduced a few months ago, I guess. The 80 watt head, the one
Yeah.
with the combo and a cabinet.
What's your thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
Oh, I like them. I mean, I helped with the not a lot of the design, but they had to take cost out. You asked about cost, and you noticed it has a lot less.
Cutting
So
corners.
they pulled out some preamp tubes, and James did a great job of designing a solid state front end that you could hardly tell it's you can't tell it. This amp was designed to sound like the 50 watt EVH sound or the Fender sound. It was not designed to sound like the PV stuff. Because it looks that way. I think Jimmy mentioned to me that a lot of people think it was going to sound like the 50.
Yeah. That's what people kept asking me if that's what it was, and that's what we all just kind of thought.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and then I was telling you, I heard it. I played through it at a Guitar Center. I talked to you that day, actually. I was on my way there or something, saying, yeah, I'm going to go try the amp. And I tried it, and it sounds great, but I'm thinking it doesn't really sound like the PV. I mean, it sounds like the EVH.
Right. That was the idea. But James compared it to the 50 watt head. The AB.
Jimmy Carr's got a good question here. Jimmy.
Okay, what is it?
He says, I have 100, there you go. I have 100S, and the green channel is very plexi-like. Was that what you guys were going for? Sounds amazing.
Well, I remember the green channel is just supposed to be way cleaner than the original EVH 100 watt head. I definitely cleaned it up, for sure. So if that makes it sound like a plexi, yeah. I guess we could say that, I don't remember somebody telling me I want it to sound like a plexi. Although I did go to the studio there, and Ed had his old modified plexi, and we went through that thing, and it had been worked on a lot. It was really hard to tell what was in the production plexi versus all the changes that had been done to it. I forget the technicians' names. There was one of them passed away. This guy that lived out east. But we never really did follow through with making an amp that was exactly like the plexi. It was a thought, but we didn't do it.
It was? Okay. I think a lot of people have wondered why nothing like that was ever produced, or,
Well,
I mean, even Cameron Brown, he talked about a lot of people like that old tone.
who was that? You said he dropped out.
Cameron Brown. He was in
okay.
here earlier. I don't know if he's still in or not.
Yeah, I saw him on the group. Yeah.
He's a friend of ours. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Brown sound thing, that whole deal, that's, the 100 watt head has the embodiment of the Brown sound, which turned out you could get that sound by lowering the filament voltage in the output tubes, and it makes a really different characteristic. So that is in the 100 watt head, and it's in the 50 watt head. The filament voltage is lower. It's in both of them. Now, we didn't do that in the EL34. As a matter of fact, when I think back, I sent Ed the first EL34 head with the different filament voltages available, and he liked the EL34 sound with the filaments at full voltage.
Wow.
So that was there was a switch in there that he could turn back and forth, and he liked the higher voltage for the EL34s. The EL34s have a softer kind of sound. They're not as punchy. I like the 6L6 sound better. EL34s were used in high fidelity amps early on. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The higher power high fidelity, and EL84s. And their grids, their screen grids are real delicate, much more delicate. So you have to bias them differently. You have to limit the current to the screen grids. It's not as simple as just dropping a different tube in. As a matter of fact, I'm working with guitar pickers to repair amps, and some guy brought in an amp. I forget the name of it. Anyway, it supposedly is switchable from 6V6s to EL84s. He plugged in EL34s and burned up a whole bunch of stuff. And you're supposed to use an adapter to go to EL84s. But it's not that simple, going between tube families. And the 6L6 and the EL34, there's one pin that's different that you have to connect. So you have to know that if you want to change. And then you got to change the whole bias stuff. So when we came out with the EL34 head and the EL34 combos, it wasn't just like, okay, put those tubes in. And then the other complication, which I talked about with the 34s, when I talked to Johnny last weekend, was the color, the gold. We wanted it to be gold, and that was actually meant to point fingers at Marshall, in a poking wood kind of way, because they had the gold color. We weren't being, it was just something they wanted to do. But you have the front panel, the rear panel is metal and anodized gold. The badges are a different kind of material. So getting all those golds to match was the biggest delay in the program. It wasn't the electronics.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
It was like crazy. Well, we finally got it.
Well, Howard, you mentioned you just can't throw the tubes in, whatever. I have a Simulclass 290 Mesa Boogie power amp that I retubed maybe about 2 years ago. They sent me tubes, and I was just thinking, okay, I take the old ones out and I put them in. So I just in case, I went online, and it was the same type of thing. Like I had to put certain tubes, and I forget if they were numbered differently.
They probably were matched sets.
Yeah, they're matched sets, and I had to put them in accordingly to this diagram with whatever number or color. I forget now how they were set up. But
I have a bone to pick with Mesa, because if you read the manual, it makes a big deal about how the tubes are just designed and you don't have to bias them and all that stuff. But they select the tubes that'll go in there, and that's why you pay $125 for a quad. It's expensive. It's much easier to have variable bias, and then so you can use a range of tubes. You have to have matched tubes.
Yeah, they sent me matched. Yeah, I got all the
matched duet, but you can set the bias where you need it to be. So all of the EVH amps have adjustable bias, not fixed bias. Well, actually, even the lunchbox has adjustable bias. It's partial cathode bias, partial adjust. So hybrid.
So when you mentioned all the modding and stuff like that some of these guys do with their amplifiers, and we hear it all the time. The mods that get done to these amps, are they really, like, if you wanted to incorporate something into a production model, is it because of cost, or is it because it wears the amp more than however the production model would have been? Like, is there different reasons? Is it mostly
really depends on where the mod is.
What's the most popular mod that somebody would come to you and say, hey, mod this amp for me, please?
Probably they want to clean up their amp. That's pretty easy to do on the EVH amps. Just a matter of taking a capacitor out. On the first.
But does it make the amp run hotter, or is it
No. If you do things to the power amp, then you have to worry. Like if you're fooling with the bias, and cranking the bias up or changing power tubes, you got to be careful. And most of the EVH amps until the S series, the bias adjust is inside. It's not accessible to the user. The control's inside. You could put in a bias buddy and measure the bias, but you can't change it unless you open up the amp. And the guys would always ask me, well, how do I do this? And I can't answer that question, because if you open up the amp, I can't tell you to open up the amp and exactly what to do, because if something happened to you and you weren't careful and you got a shock, you could sue me, you could sue Fender. It's not. But now with the external bias, you can measure the bias and adjust it, but it even still says on the back, refer to a qualified technician to do this procedure.
Yeah.
Because
it's
classified. Something as stupid as using on the test points in the back, if you plug in a current meter there, it's not right. you need to measure the voltage there. So if you put the meter in current mode, you're getting a totally false reading.
Kurt, you weren't lying about having the bucket under your desk, huh?
You didn't hear my zipper. What does that tell you?
You don't have any pants on. I guess that's why.
That's
right. Leave it to Jay. Leave it to Jay.
Hey, I got to break the ice somehow.
I know.
So
Howard, I got a question.
Sure. Go ahead.
How well did you know of Eddie Van Halen before you, got assigned to this project with EVH? Did you know of him, or were you a fan? What type of music did you like? How was that?
During his heyday, I wasn't a fan of his music. No, I was listening to other kinds of stuff.
Okay.
But I got to meet him. He came to Fender when they were doing the contracts with him and all that stuff. And the 100 Watt head was already out by then. And they needed to do a transition to get somebody else to work with him. He was a little bit tough at the beginning because he was still had troubles with substance stuff.
Yeah.
And Van Halen's a great guy. When he got clean, it was just like night and day. It was so easy to work with him. And he was really a family kind of guy. I went to that Smithsonian thing. That was an amazing event. Got to hear him talk. And like I told Johnny at the end, he was taking questions. And somebody asked him, the last question was a younger kid. He asked him if he could play with anybody, who would he play with? And he said his father.
Yep.
After a delay,
right.
He thought about it. And he was a good guy. He was definitely.
So you were a guest at that. You were a guest at the Smithsonian.
Yeah, and my partner Carol, they invited us there.
That's awesome.
And
awesome.
She grew up in New Jersey, so we went from there up to New Jersey, and it snowed while we were up there. We had to drive back.
Oh, jeez.
From the back because we flew from Washington D.C. Mm-hmm. That was a hell of a trip.
Okay.
Driving down to catch a plane, but it was a good.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hundreds of times.
I watched it, I guess, the day after.
Yeah.
And I told you I'm friends with Chip Ellis.
Yeah.
And he I think they were telling me about it, like they were going to go to it. And then actually a friend of mine offered me a ticket to go to it.
Should have gone.
But I'm out here, and then I'm like, I can't make it, and it would have been cool. It would have been cool to go.
A bunch of us went out that night. Chip was there, and his girlfriend or wife. I'm not sure.
His wife, yeah.
We all went to a restaurant. It was nice. It was cold though. After being in Phoenix.
I think anything's cold after being in Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, Chicago's worse.
Yeah, I lived in Illinois for born in Illinois. Yep. I don't miss that cold weather at all, man.
Where were you born in Illinois? Which city?
Bolingbrook, Illinois.
Well, I know that. Well, I lived in inner city Chicago.
Wow.
Went to Roosevelt High School.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Albany Park, Rogers Park, and then I moved to Evanston, right by Northwestern, before we left there.
What year did you leave?
1975 March.
Okay, I was born in '77. So,
yeah.
Did you become a Bears fan while you were out there by any chance?
I was a Bears fan, yeah, and Wrigley Field, the Cubs.
Yeah.
To ride my bicycle to Wrigley Field. Sox, I loved to go to Sox Park, where it was a tough neighborhood back then.
Yeah, Comiskey, right? Wasn't it Comiskey Park?
We rebuilt Comiskey Park.
Yep. Did you go to any car show? I don't want to get too off topic, but how about where they have all the car shows at McCormick Center, McCormick Place?
McCormick Place, yeah, that burned down.
Yeah. I went and saw the one year I went, Walter Payton was there. This probably would have been 83, 84-ish, I think. And Kit and David Hasselhoff were supposed to be there.
Oh, wow.
And I guess the story came out years later because Hasselhoff didn't show. It was just Kit. Because I guess the story was
Kit got himself there.
Too many drinks.
Yeah, he got bombed the night before and was hungover. He didn't show up.
He was at Wendy's getting a hamburger,
eating a hamburger on the floor. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, Kit can drive him around.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right. He gets all the time designated driver.
Part of my growing up, how I got involved with music is I worked at a restaurant as a soda jerk and fountain, fountain drinks, and I worked in the kitchen. And there was a guy there, Willie, who would take us down to the black neighborhoods, these little blues clubs, in the middle of the night. It was incredible music, to hear back then.
Wow.
These three white guys running down with in a convertible Oldsmobile with this black guy, and then we go into this club that's all black, closed. After it was fun, good stuff.
You mentioned you weren't a big Van Halen fan when you got, but so what was what were you listening to, or what is your favorite?
Back then,
Well,
in the '60s, I was a folk music nut. I love, because there's a lot of folk groups that come through Seattle, through Chicago. There was all these Old Town School of Music, a lot of little clubs. So folk music a lot. And then later on, the Eagles, Dire Straits, bands like that.
Oh yeah.
Pink Floyd. I still like Pink Floyd, the English guy. I mean, he's still playing. What's it?
Roger Waters or Gilmore? Which one?
David Gilmour.
David Gilmour. I always have trouble remembering his name. He's an amazing musician.
Yes, he is. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the perfect example of playing the right note is better than playing a bunch of notes.
Yeah.
And you can play one note over a certain chord, and it just has you going, oh my God, instead of,
And that whole buildup of, when he starts playing is amazing. The organ and the whole, I work on organs too, so my favorite organ is the Hammond B3. I love that organ. Matter of fact, when I was at Fluke, there was a guy, we didn't have computers then. We had terminals because the mainframes were, connected to the terminals. Mm-hmm. And the internet had just started to be public. Mm-hmm. And somebody had a B3 for sale there in Seattle. And by the time I got through to him, it was already gone. It was for the taking too, free.
Oh,
Leslie speaker and everything. So that's an amazing organ.
Very cool.
I'm trying to scroll through and see if there's any amp
questions. Any questions or anything?
Oh. Yeah. Any questions? Drop them in the comments. Definitely.
All Dave, All Night is responding to Magic Man, says capacitors hold voltage. You can hurt yourself if you just go poking around.
Absolutely true. I got shocked 2 weeks ago. Matter of fact, I was in the guitar pickers there, and I screamed, "Ah!" And they go, "God bless you." They thought I sneezed. They could have been laying there dead.
Yeah. Oh, some sneeze.
Yeah, I sneezed in my pants.
Yeah, you want to. If you don't know anything about amps, don't open them up.
No,
your stuff in there.
No, I won't. I won't. No.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it was hard enough for me to swap out the tubes on this damn power amp. If you think I'm going to go poking and prodding,
no, you don't have to do that. Get somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely not.
Wow.
I mean, years ago, I had to bring that power amp to a service center, it was Alto Music in Middletown, New York, and they had to service it. I forget what the problem was. I don't know if it might have just stopped working. One of the channels maybe stopped working or something.
Usually it's just a tube, but not always.
Yeah, maybe it was. I forget what the issue was.
I had an amp in there 2 months ago, and unfortunately the amp was dead, and it turned out it was the power transformer. That's really rare. Really rare.
So Howard, I got a question. You said you went to 5150 Studios in California. What was your first thought walking in the studio, and what stood out to you that maybe you weren't expecting or you're surprised to see?
Well, the amount of stuff. There was so many amps. And, I like and he had all these nice cars too, but it had nothing to do with the studio.
Sure.
Oh, he had just tons of stuff in there. But there was a few different rooms. The second or third time I was there, he took out some of his old amps and guitars that came out of a safe. That was really interesting stuff. I don't even know where he got this stuff, but it was very private stuff, and that's where the Plexi came out, and we were able to look at it and go through it. But it was just a haphazard, lot of stuff around, and amps everywhere. And then he would, we'd set up what we wanted to listen to, and he'd be there along with Matt Bruck, who was always there.
Yeah,
you guys know Matt Bruck? I'm sure you do.
Know of him, yeah.
Yeah,
know of him.
Yeah. Wolfgang was very rarely there. I only met Wolfgang once at the studio and then at the concert.
Okay. It's funny because somebody asked that question earlier. How much was Wolfgang, or is he? I guess maybe now. I'm sure he is more.
Probably a lot more involved now since Van Halen passed.
Yeah,
and I'm sure Matt Bruck is still involved. And then the whoever owns the contract for his recording stuff. I'm not even sure who that is now.
R2R3 Locking Nut asks,
"What's that?"
Ask Howard why the power switch is on the back of the 5153.
Yeah, they're all
great amps, but the standby switch and power switch is on the back of the amp.
Yeah, a lot of people complained about that, and they did it that way from day one because you didn't want to run those power wires up along by the preamp stuff to pick up hum. That was the main
reason.
Yeah. And the agency stuff. You start running AC around the chassis, you have to make sure it's safe and away from everything. Mm-hmm. And we got dinged once about the routing of a high voltage wire. They had changed it. And we were resubmitting the amp for safety, and the CSA guys caught it and said, "You can't do that."
Now, did you know that you can't do it, or you just said, "Screw it"? They won't even know.
No, I think the prototypes were built right, but the factory took a shortcut when we sent some of those to because we always do a safety run. It's called. The factory builds them and then they send them to CSA, which is in just outside Toronto, Canada. Mm-hmm. They do the testing for worldwide stuff. We used to do separate European testing. It's not we anymore. I'm gone from Fender, but I still say we.
Yeah.
It's been 9 months already.
You wonder if those guys are just looking for something, and when they find it, they're ready to red tape it.
Yeah, and then opening up the file, it probably doesn't really cost that much money to do it, but that's their business. And they could get in trouble if they miss something. Mm-hmm. And the factories are supposed to adhere to building things a certain way. You can't just switch factories on where you're building stuff. Once agency it's approved, especially now offshore that they're using China.
Well, Magic Man.
To see if any of the James Brown in this group ever? Did he ever join?
No, we haven't had him on yet. But I met him at a NAMM show a few years ago.
He's a great guy. He's a good
Very
guy.
cool. Yeah.
Did you meet Alexander too? Shabilsky? He's a young guy.
No.
There's a lot of people behind the scenes. There's the circuit board layout people, and then there's the mechanical designer, Richard Barr, who did all of this stuff until recently. He just left the EVH group. We worked together all those years. Mm-hmm. Mechanical stuff. But when we do the circuit boards, the critical stuff, the engineers lay out, then they hand it over to a layout person that for the non-critical areas, and then to make sure all of the standards are met and it's documented properly and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of people, and then of course all the marketing people,
Right.
And then the managers.
Yeah. We got 3 people asking this question. We got Magic Man says ask Howard what his favorite speaker is. Keith Campbell said, "What's your favorite speaker to work with?" And then All Dave fronted the money for everybody's question. So Thank
Yeah,
all
my
Dave
favorite-
all
He
night.
goes right to the front of the line.
Yep, that's right.
My favorite all-time speaker would be, and we never used them at Fender, was the JBL D130s. It's a long
Oh, wow.
time. Very nice speakers. If you could find them, they're worth a lot of money. Yeah, they make the best speakers ever. But in terms of what we are using, I mean, I'm partial to the greenbacks,
Yeah.
the Celestian greenbacks. I think we use the I forget it, it's a Heritage Series, Anniversary Series, 70th Anniversary Series. A lot of the EVH cabinets have those in them, the 50-watt stuff.
Mhm.
I'm not sure
Oh,
what they're
okay.
using in the Iconic. I think it's a Celestian variant, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
Well, then they want the 25-watt greenbacks, but they couldn't hit the price
The
point or
money
something?
mark, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, for the new cabinet,
Yeah.
it could be. Yeah, I know.
I'm looking at them right now.
James Brown, he did a lot of listening at different speakers, and I know all kinds of different
So-
stuff came in.
So are you in contact with James Brown, or
Oh,
did
yeah,
you like line him up
Yeah.
when you left? Okay.
Did I do what? Yeah,
Did you like line him up when you left?
Oh yeah, he worked remotely for the COVID over a year and a quarter, and he moved in. He moved just when I was leaving in April from Georgia to Phoenix. Yeah, when we were on, Alexander, James, and I were on Zoom, or even we all have iPhones, so we're on FaceTime. So just like we were in the same room a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Coordinating. I was involved. I helped a lot with the circuit boards. Especially when they changed the configuration of the amp from the combo from a upside down combo to a vertical combo. So we had to mirror the boards, and I worked on that. And even on the original EVH 50-watt head, heads, the chassis on the bottom, the boards hanging down, tubes are on top, and the combos chassis is on the top, and the boards are below. But you have to mirror the image if you want to have the input on the right, and the controls. Otherwise, it would be opposite. So that was a little bit of a pain to mirror that for the first combo. But we wanted them to look the same from the front. So the input's
We have-
on the-
We have a great question from Tubin.
yeah,
He asks, did Ed use one particular guitar, or did he have a favorite guitar to test the amps out?
I don't know that. He always seemed to, he just come out there with a guitar. I really don't know. Sorry, I can't answer that one.
Did you see the 5150 guitar when you were at the studio?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
they gave me one too when I left. A beautiful guitar, signed by him, set up by him. I have it in a box, in a beautiful case that's going to sit there.
Very cool.
And they gave me
Nice.
gave me the original Vietnam head that he approved, signed.
We're going to see it,
Oh,
everybody.
you have it? Oh my gosh.
I got the case.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
There you go.
Nice.
This is on the table here.
You're really strong, Howard. I got to tell you. Picking up that amp like it's nothing.
The head's over on the table there. And speaking of which, I'm going to do a plug now.
You got it, man.
It's I have a website. I'm not getting a lot of business off the internet yet. I hope to have them, expand. But I'm working at Guitar Pickers, just 4 days a week, just to keep busy.
Let's pull it up.
Fixing amplifiers, helping those guys out. But
Yeah,
I
we'll
mentioned
plug it.
I mentioned the concentric control issue, and we came out with this kit
Yeah.
to change. They had dual concentric controls, but you notice there's only two, where the tone controls are not dual concentric. So I've developed this here, which is all the tone controls too.
Whoa.
So So I'm going to be offering this kit pretty soon for people that want to have dual concentric tone controls, and the combos are on the heads for 50 watt. So that'll be up on my web pretty soon.
Nice.
You heard it here first, folks.
On your website, the site on the screen there, Kaplan's Amp.
Kaplan's Amp Service.com.
Amp Service.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I'll put that up pretty soon. I've got the new circuit boards coming, and I'll build up prototypes, and then I'll, to make sure everything's okay, I'll build up a head and a combo. Unfortunately, you got to ship the amp to me because it's pretty involved to put these in. You got to take old controls out and put this board in place of it.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it something that like you could order and then have somebody else, or you'd rather just?
Yeah, the current kit that they have is only installable by Fender authorized EVH gold service centers, because you have to break out the old controls, and that's the fastest way to do it. And I did a video that shows how to do that. Otherwise, you have to take the main board out totally to take the two controls out. That's way too much work and not cost effective. So, because the cost of the parts on this is probably about everything here. The knobs are expensive too. Those are not the Fender knobs. This is a different knob. But this
take off knob.
$70 probably in parts total. Wow. $15 for each site for the knobs and the pot and the board and a couple other things. But I'll be offering that for those that want dual concentric tone controls. Watch out for the announcement on my website.
Well, JJ's House of Jams, our buddy, he looks like he's gonna definitely be looking into that.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, everybody go to that website. Nice. I'm sure Johnny will throw it in the description of the
video. I was there today. It is. It's already in the description right now.
Look at that.
Yeah, I checked it out too today.
Yeah, my brother did the logo, by the way. Like crazy, holding up a soldering iron.
No, I thought that was great.
My brother did that. He's an artist.
Cool. Why don't we go to the website while we're live right now and just
you can show the cover page, yeah.
I've got a cat I got to put down.
Oh, I got
not live on the air.
I've been put on the ground.
Here's my cat just came in. So,
he's always jumping on my lap all the time. All right, let's go there real quick.
Man. So wait, where is Johnny? Where is Neanderthal located?
He's in Scottsdale,
Tempe, right? He is?
Who's Neanderthal?
Neanderthal is a friend of ours. He's on with us on Saturday nights here. Well, Tuesdays and Saturdays.
He lives in Scottsdale? Okay.
He's a DJ for what is it, KXLX?
KXLX?
Yeah,
the rock station.
The
rock station
billboard. You've
in
probably
Phoenix.
seen his billboard driving around. Yeah.
KSLX. I think.
He's not on
KSLX.
No, he'll be on tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Well,
does he have that amp, Johnny or Kurt?
Yeah, he does.
Bring one over and we'll get it in person.
He has the 100 watt.
The 100 watt. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first page. Yeah.
That's cool.
There we go. There's the logo.
So I'm there 4 days a week at Guitar Pickers. So for anybody in the Phoenix area, they can come in and bring their amps if they need work. I prefer not to work on solid state, but I will. See the little asterisk there? The problem with solid state is getting the information, getting the schematics and stuff. The tubes, you can pretty much figure it out, and a lot of the schematics are published. So, yeah, it's Guitar Pickers. They got some really nice guitars in there, and there's a Sherilyn Gerhardt. He builds guitars from scratch, Stratocaster-like guitars.
Wow.
And he repairs guitars, obviously. So they're open 5 days a week, but they're only 4.
Yeah. You're supposed to be retired, right?
Yeah, I am retired, but gotta keep busy, right? keep your mind
Yeah.
Well,
moving.
retired from working for other people. Now he's when you're working for
Yeah,
yourself,
the man.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah, they're not. It's a nice group of people down there. They marched in with singing "Happy Birthday." My birthday's Monday.
Well, happy
Oh,
birthday.
cool.
Yes.
Three quarters of a century.
Birthday.
Yeah, so they sang "Happy Birthday" and brought some cupcakes in. That was nice.
Cool.
Happy birthday. I think we're getting a call. The phone keeps ringing.
Well, Brian Hudson wants to know, besides loud, what volume would Ed test the amps? I'm assuming at all volumes, right?
Yeah, he liked to crank the gain up, way up, and he pretty loud. Yeah, almost as definitely past, probably way past 12, maybe 3.
Now, did you ever suggest, like, hey, Ed, why don't you try it at
No,
this?
you let Ed do what he wanted to do.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
You
figure.
don't question his decisions because he's really usually right on. Believe it or not, it's hard to believe.
So you don't walk over and start adjusting knobs as he's playing.
Oh my gosh.
But he's
That's the worst when you're at Guitar Center trying something and they're playing the guitar for you and they're adjusting stuff.
no, that's not good.
Yeah.
Let you do
Yeah,
the
get out of here.
That's why nobody shops here, buddy.
Yeah.
When I was first doing the repair stuff in the Seattle area, I'd go to Guitar Center. They would send all of their amplifiers back to a central location. And most of the problems with their amplifiers were something simple. Like somebody took the fuse, the people were stealing fuses all the time. The little holders, knobs missing. So I told them that I would fix them, flat fee for those cheap amps, $50 each.
Right.
So if you have to
Let's
replace
save
a
them.
knob, $50.
Yeah. But then I left Seattle, so
Yeah.
unfortunately, didn't really want to leave because I like Seattle.
No, it's nice.
I was a climber too out there.
Oh, okay.
I did all of the volcanoes.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done Rainier and Adams.
And Adams. I did
Yeah.
St. Helens before it blew up.
Oh, wow.
I remember May 18th, 1982, I think is when it blew up.
Yep.
You could hear it from Seattle. Oof, oof.
I was
And
4.
then if you were in Yakima, then you got
Yeah, we got a ton of ash here.
yeah.
Any reports of strange aerial phenomenon flying around those volcanoes? I'm a huge alien UFO guy, and I've
Okay.
always heard stuff about volcanoes. Man, they come hauling ass out of those things.
Are you an X-Files fan?
Oh yeah,
Trust no one.
That's right. Question everything. Question everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Well, I don't have anything else. Nobody has got more questions out there. So
Questions. The
Any
phone keeps
questions?
ringing. I think there's somebody calling in with a question here.
All right,
Okay,
we'll take
Call
the
back. Call back.
call back.
We have how many do we have watching right now? We got a buttload. Right?
116.
Wow.
Yeah, come on.
Nobody's asking
116.
questions. That could be more than that.
Howard, what is your favorite amp? Leo Safko wants to know. Your favorite amp?
Huh. That's a good question. I'm thinking.
Favorite
I
amp?
was partial to Line 6 for a while, but not when they added the digital stuff. It became a big problem because you couldn't get the boards, But I would like to go with the hot rod, Fender hot rod, because I'm not a super high gain kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's what I use.
I like
That's what I use. The hot rod.
The hot rod DeVille and Deluxe.
Yes.
Are really nice.
Those are. I love those. I love those amps.
And a Princeton reverb. I worked on that. But I would say the hot rod series.
Leo meant that you designed Favorite amp that you
Oh,
designed?
that I designed?
Yeah.
Oh. Let's see. I enjoyed working on the EL34 combo the most because
cool.
because of the variable power thing was tricky. And I did it for the 6L6, and when we changed to the EL34, I thought the bias circuit that I had done would work on the EL34, but I had to redesign the whole bias system, and then I retrofitted the 606 one, which improved its performance. But I liked working on that variable power thing. That was a great idea, you know. So you can get bedroom volume, but it still sounded distortion-wise proper.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Now we got the questions rolling in.
Okay.
We got. My eyes are drying out. I got the heat on right now. It's freezing. What is your opinion on the PV Bandit Red Line amp?
I don't know that one, so I
Me
can't
neither.
comment.
Tubinin wants to know, did Eddie teach you anything about sounds and amp building indirectly?
Well, the Brown sound thing. I was interested in
Yeah.
what he was doing, but you know, you can't really just take a variac now on the amps. And I would try to explain this to people and turn it down and expect the amp to work, because back on the amps he was working on, there was no digital stuff in them, no regulators to drop out, and then all the lights would go off, you know, on the switching stuff. So the Brown sound really turned out to be primarily the changing in the plate voltage and the bias voltages and the filament voltage. So that was built in, and a lot of people don't even know that. They never advertised the lower filament voltage being the essence of the Brown sound. A lot of people don't think that's true, but that was really what was going on.
So when you're reading these message boards or forums or whatever about amps, it's got to drive somebody like you nuts that knows exactly how these things are built, how they work, what makes them, all this stuff. Well, why don't you just throw this in there? Why don't you just why can't you do that? And you're like, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, you know, that was one of the reasons I sort of slowed down on the bulletin boards, because, you know, you get, Jimmy and I talked about trolls, you know, and then people that make all these comments and they don't even have the amplifier. That's a little bit hard to take. But,
Yeah.
it's you know, and I've explained the thing about making changes a lot of times, because you got to sort of repeat that. You know, you can't just make a change. You know, and there's a guy out there, Jens Cruz, who does some good stuff for EVH amps, making changes. You know, does he follow this, Jens Cruz?
I don't know.
I know that name.
He's been modifying he has all kinds of modifications for EVH stuff.
I know that name. Yeah.
Huh.
But we have a call. We have a question for you via telephone.
What's that?
Okay, or iPhone, computer.
Cellular
All right, you're on the
phone?
air. You're on the air. What's your question? Who is this?
Yeah, this is Kurt with a C.
Kurt with a C.
Yeah.
We got two Kurts on the air tonight.
From Washington.
Well, Kurt with a K, 5150. That's why I'm Kurt with a C.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I called because I had to call because you had him and Howard on the show, and I live 2 hours from both of them. I live in Wenatchee, Washington.
Lock your doors,
Kurt
guys.
lives in Yakima, which I didn't know that. And then Howard
Kurt,
lives in
I'm going to
Seattle,
Wenatchee.
I used to live there in the 90s.
I'm going to Wenatchee on Tuesday.
And anyway, so I had to call. Plus, Kurt 5150 at the beginning of the show thought that I was calling in, and it wasn't me.
You know, okay, I'm glad you bring that up. You know who actually called? Who that was in the very beginning?
Who?
That was Stephen Rosen.
Stephen Rosen.
You know, Stephen Rosen.
Gotcha.
He was Eddie Van Halen. He was like the guy that did all the Guitar World magazines with Eddie all through the 80s.
Okay.
Oh,
He was like
my
the guy.
God.
So he called up telling me he wants to come on. He wants to do a show with us.
Okay.
So
Come
Steve
on
Rosen-
on.
That's too good.
He'll actually be with us February 11th.
Mhm.
He'll be with us. He
Nice.
he
New
just
book.
wrote a Van Halen book.
What about
Actually,
his
Oh, cool.
That's a
Cool.
picture of that.
Tom? What's his?
But
Tom?
yeah, so when I saw Kurt 5150, and I'm going to call him Kurt with a K, damn it, because that's why I'm Kurt with a C. And it's like, okay, you live 2 hours from me. That's ridiculous.
Well, he lives in Wenatchee.
Anyway.
And you live in Yakima.
Yep.
So,
Wow.
and tell Jay, glad to see the hat. Glad to see the hat. And
I did it for
hat
you,
on
Kurt.
backwards.
Did it for you,
Anyway.
Kurt.
I'll
Yeah.
get off here and let you continue. your
Jay
show.
didn't wear a hat one time, and this guy that's calling us got upset by that. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah. And hey, great show. Howard's a great guest. It's been interesting the whole night. So that's good. That's
Thank
good.
you.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
I agree.
So, okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you go, Johnny.
All right.
Thanks, man.
All right. Bye bye, Kurt with a
See you,
C.
Kurt.
Curtsy.
Bye bye.
Kurt,
So you
Kurt
didn't have-
OU812.
Are you going to have Van Halen's traveling guitar guy? Tom, what's his name? Ever on?
Oh, Tom Weber?
Tom Weber, yeah.
Tom Weber? Yes. Yeah, Tom and I. Tom, yeah, he's a friend of mine, and we talk. And yeah, he's going to be on with us as soon as he gets time because he's very
He's
busy.
still traveling, right?
He's still traveling, yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Edwin Crane wants to know if you can replace tubes with carrots. I think you can.
Doesn't quite work.
So I know you mentioned before, Howard, about, before you kind of work back in the day, you weren't really into that style of music or whatever. But once you started working with Eddie, were you kind of like, whoa?
Oh yeah, he's amazing. His expertise and watching him play is incredible. And plus, he's a super nice guy.
Mhm. That always helps, right? When you're working
Yeah.
with somebody, that's cool.
I was a little afraid at first because he's a celebrity. You got to be careful what you say and.
Was he into the technical stuff that,
Yeah, he was.
you know,
He definitely was. Yeah, that was part of the
That's what I
problem with the other guy. He had some ideas that were not, in line with
Sure.
what the original designer thought.
Mhm.
So and that caused some tension.
Was that other guy trying to tell Eddie how the amp should sound?
No, I don't know all the details. But
Get him out of here. Let's
Get
see.
your carrots and get out of here.
Yeah. I want to do carrots.
Ah.
KXM Rock wants to know, and again, if this, I don't know if this is serious
just
or
wants
whatever,
to
I'm
know.
assuming it is.
Yeah.
Is it okay to use larger sized filter caps with same value? I put some monsters on my little tube 5 watt. I don't know what any of that means though.
What's that code for?
Larger physical size, or larger capacitance, higher voltage. You need to adhere to the voltage is the most important thing, and you don't want to put much more capacitance. It depends on where it is, what circuit it's in. If it's a filter cap and a power supply, you got to be careful. So coupling cap, as long as it's an high enough voltage, that's safe to make it bigger.
Santa
You might get
Cruz,
more
Howard,
on
were
it.
you involved in the Fender Princeton Reverb hand-wired series?
No.
No,
No.
okay. Santa
We
Cruz.
took the Fender Princeton reverb hand wired and adapted it to a circuit board version. But we left the tube sockets on the chassis. So the tubes are hand wired over to the circuit board. But there's not all the rat's nest of connections. So it was just a way to save cost.
Hmm.
And I don't think it sounded any different. It's the same transformers, the same controls, but they're on a circuit board. I'm pro circuit board. Hand wired stuff could be better if you do it properly and neatly, but if you just don't do it consistently in the same way, you're going to get different sound. You get a circuit board, the traces are the same place every time, and it's going to, it'll be consistent.
The edge of
That's why I'm doing this thing here on a circuit board. because hand wiring this would be on a front panel would be a lot of work. So yeah, it'll be very consistent. So
The Edge of Breakup wants to know. This is always a great question. Strat or Telly?
Strat.
Okay.
I'm Strat.
Cool.
What was that?
It's not like somebody's popping open a beer bottle over there.
Carol dropped something.
It's wearing flip-flops in water while adjusting a tube's bias. Is that safe?
No. No.
Great question, R2.
The rubber's insulators. Come on.
If you're working on an amplifier, which I don't recommend unless you know what you're doing, one hand behind the back when you're probing high voltage.
Yeah.
Because
Is that true?
you put your hand on the chassis and you touch something right through your heart.
Making a circuit. Oh, man.
Oh,
Yeah. My dad's an electrician, Howard.
Yeah.
So I know all about that.
Yeah, you got to be careful. And the best invention for electrical circuits is the ground fault interrupter.
Yep.
Whoever invented that thing saved a lot of lives.
What's
Yeah.
that?
The GFI breakers.
Yeah, like what's in your bathroom.
Yeah, we have those in, yeah.
If there's any fault current, the circuit opens.
Yep.
The little blue
Bedrooms,
sticker
bathrooms.
on the outlet
Yeah.
plates. We have those.
You should have GFI breakers in any place where there's water in your house.
In the kitchen.
It's probably causing his alien not to work upstairs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Wow. So there you go. Look at that.
No more questions?
man.
Johnny, what do you have for Howard? I know you got to talk to him in a little bit. Did anything we didn't cover?
We got 120 something people watching.
Yeah, we
I can't. I can't remember yesterday, man.
Who's this guy? Megatod? Megatoad?
Todd,
Megatod?
Yep. Megatod.
From Arizona. He's in Arizona.
lock the door.
Yeah, well, you're going to have a lot of people showing up at your house, Howard.
There are a lot of Arizona people here?
Seems like it.
Where's Zims?
Yeah, where is Zim's?
Oh, you ever heard of
Zim's
Zim's
Guitars.
Guitars? Zim's Guitars in Mesa.
Mesa?
No.
It's a good friend
There's
of ours.
Bizarre Guitars here. That place.
Bizarre Guitars.
Bizarre Guitars.
How
And
far away is Mesa, Arizona?
Just
Mesa?
suburb.
Probably from Guitar Pickers, probably 10 miles.
Yeah.
Wow, no
The most.
crap.
Yeah.
Not that far.
Zim's Guitars, never a ship. You'll see it. That's their tagline.
Okay. It's in Mesa? You said it's in Mesa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But you have to live in Mesa to buy anything because he won't ship anything.
Yeah, he's not going
If
to
you're
ship
ever, if
anything.
you're ever in town, go come to Guitar Pickers. You'll see
I will.
some-
My mom and my two brothers live in Phoenix, so my next trip down there, I'm hoping you're open. I'll bring you cupcakes.
Okay. They're open Tuesday through Saturday.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Closed Sunday and Monday. But let me know if you're going to be there because I'm not there normally Saturday.
Sure.
If you're there on Saturday, I'll go in.
Kurt, can you stop by here on your way and pick up my amp to take with you?
Yeah, this is a carry-on. I'll just strap it on my back like Rocket Man.
Well, do you want to, Johnny, do you have the website still locked and loaded? Maybe we could pop
Yeah.
it up one more time. And if
Yes.
anybody needs to get a hold of Howard, and you know,
You can call me. Yeah.
There it is. There it should be right here in a second.
is Howard related to George Kaplan?
There's a lot of Kaplans in this world,
There you go.
especially from Chicago.
Yeah, there's a Bears host who does
No.
one of the Bears talk shows. What's his name? Something. It's Kaplan, his last name. So
So you're putting up the site again or something? What's
I
going
thought you were
on?
putting the website up, Johnny. Do you still have that locked and loaded or no?
Oh, you mean the picture of it?
Well, the site.
Yeah, pull up the site. Let's look at it live.
One more time. We still have a booty load of people.
There we go.
Now we're rocking.
Now we're cooking with gas.
Follow all
there.
the social media sites there on the right. You see them.
Yep.
Let's see. Which of these do you want me to go to any of these?
Mod and customizations.
Yeah, the people want me to do special
Play it over.
things.
Oh,
They
man,
just
look
need
at
to
all that.
contact me and we'll talk about it. But I'm going to offer this kit as the first thing for people that have the 50-watt stuff, if they're interested. We'll see.
Very cool.
I'm telling you, to have a good amp man in the same town you live in, that's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they had a guy before at Guitar Pickers, but didn't quite work out. So when I retired, I went down and talked to Al Lieberman, the owner, and he said that, yeah, he'd definitely be interested. So basically, I've got a space there. He's not involved at all what I do.
Nice.
He just wants to make repair available to his customers.
Wow.
And I could do my own thing. He's happy with that.
And you've been doing that for 9 months, you said?
No, I started like the end of July, something like
Okay.
that. I retired April 1st.
Just kidding. April Fool's Day. I'm not coming to work anymore.
Right.
I remember EVH Gear had posted about you retiring. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the head of marketing, Jeff Carey's he's a really great guy. And they've got John Romanowski and Matt Brown are the other two marketing guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
know
all know
Matt.
Matt,
I would see him at the NAMM show every year at the
Right.
booth. Yeah.
Yeah. they're
Hey,
good.
do you know any of the guys who work for Gretsch by any chance?
Well, yeah.
Do you know Mike Taft?
Not Mike
He's
Taft.
the head of artist. He's the head artist rep at Gretsch.
Oh yeah, I know him. Yeah, right.
Okay, he was I don't want to whatever,
Yeah.
but he was he used to be with Ibanez. He was my artist rep back in like 2004 through 2007 ish, and I'm still in contact with him all the time. So
I don't know. Was Romanowski with Ibanez or with Jackson?
I don't know.
I think he might have been Ibanez. He's the top of the marketing besides Jeff Carey. Jeff Carey is above everybody.
Yeah.
And my boss was I'm drawing a blank now.
Yeah, he was your boss. It's easy to forget him.
No, he's a good guy. Surprised he's not on here. Anyway, but
That's
yeah,
Can I tell Mike Taft you said hello?
sure. Yeah, he's hit me up a couple times about artist stuff.
Oh wow, okay.
And then, yeah, have you guys been ever to the Artist Relations Center in Hollywood? Any of you? No. No, because marketing, most of marketing moved to Hollywood.
Oh, it was there in Arizona, right?
All in the Scottsdale building is essentially empty, and I don't know what the rumor is now, but they're probably going to get rid of it. I know the EVH group has a separate model shop that they opened.
Oh,
So
okay.
the guys that work on Jackson and some of those, there's guys in Tennessee that do the EVH guitars, Chip,
Yeah.
and a couple other guys. But there's EVH group has a separate little model shop for the guitar stuff, right in Scottsdale.
Chip gave me a tour of the entire facility
National place? Yeah.
in Corona.
In Corona.
In Corona, and this was like 7 years ago. It was a while ago, and it was amazing. The entire Fender thing, and then all the EVH, the EVH stuff. It was incredible.
Well, Mike Taft said hello.
Oh, okay. Tell him I said that.
I sent them a picture of us sitting there.
I was
When I had
wondering.
my hand up. I was taking the picture.
I wonder who you're waving to.
Yeah. I'm waving to you guys. What do you think?
Jay took some happy pills.
So will you post this so other people could look at it? It'll be up on YouTube or Facebook.
It's on YouTube right now.
Okay, so people can go back and see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be
Oh,
there
this is
forever.
live. Yeah, this is live. This is yeah.
But it'll
YouTube.
It's archived
Facebook.
up there too. Okay.
Be
Yes,
forever.
yeah.
Okay.
YouTube. It's on like 5 different places on Facebook, and then it'll be a podcast
Okay.
later tonight. It'll be on Spotify, iHeartRadio,
Okay.
everywhere.
All right, so then how about this for everyone listening? Because obviously, when we're pulling up the website and listing your, stuff like that on here, people can't hear it, right? So does anybody want to read the? Let's see, it's www.kaplansampservice.com
Right.
is where you want to go, right?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Awesome. This is a great show. I think. This was awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
This was the most fun I've ever had, man.
In our lives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually we're all frowning the entire show. There's a lot of crying. This
Gotta go
Fights.
watch.
this was great, man.
I don't know if I believe it.
Jay and I don't get along at all. We hate each other.
I hate that guy up there.
Notice how they're separated here. Usually they're right next to each other. No,
I give you
like
everything's
that.
happening.
Yeah.
Do they have a way to make the images right?
Huh? Yeah, everything.
Everything's
Yeah, it's
backwards.
opposite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't figured that out yet. I'm saying I think there's a way you can actually flip it or something. Don't want to get into that now.
I think there is. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Howard, everyone in the chat is saying you were great, and it was good having you on. Great guest.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. It was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
If you need help, get in touch with me.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. I'm gonna
Definitely.
sign out. All right.
Howard,
Okay.
nice meeting you. Thank you so much.
Howard, thank you. I'll come see you. I got
Okay.
your info. I'll get a hold of you.
All right. Thanks. Take
All
it
right.
easy.
All right. Talk to you soon, Howard.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Wow, man. See, CC DeVille said it was such a great show. He's rewinding it and he's going to watch it again right now.
That's possible, actually.
Where's Glenn
That guy
Danzig?
should-
He's not on here.
No, because he's too busy eating. What? Hey, so Johnny,
my gosh.
Oh man.
before we get out of here, do you want to? We have a giveaway that somebody is donating to our #win thing. that
Oh,
we
Prize
do.
sure.
pack.
Do you want to do that tonight, or do you want to save it for tomorrow? What do you want to do?
We got 116 here. Do you guys want to do it tonight? Right now?
Yeah.
Hashtag
do it tonight.
Hashtag the Chad. Because our
Hashtag
good friend-
the Chad.
Hashtag the Chad. Tubin and you got it too ahead of you out there, buddy.
Okay, let me create it real quick.
Oh.
Let me create
Premature.
this. And again, we got 100-something people here. Yeah, sorry that the phone rang when we first started the show, but yeah, that was Stephen Rosen. You guys all know him from all the Guitar World magazines back in the day. He was the main interviewer. He has a new book coming out called Tone Chaser, Understanding Edward, My 26-Year Journey. And Stephen Rosen, he'll be with us on February 11th talking about the book.
I pre-ordered mine
Well, this one up here. Wait, hang on.
Wednesday.
That one.
Sorry.
Right there, yeah.
Tone
Yeah, I ordered
Chaser.
I ordered mine yesterday too.
500 pages of just data. Would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, so February
Jay.
11th.
No, it's all
February
right.
11th.
I jumped the gun because I see a comment from Bruce Poinsett says there's no Jason Hannon on the Ibanez artist roster in 05. I beg to differ. Maybe it's the 06 catalog.
Yeah, check your facts.
Yeah, I mean it's on there. Anyway,
All right.
I'll show you guys later.
What's
Here's
the
here-
hashtag?
hashtag the Chad.
The Chad.
Because Chad, our buddy, is cool enough to donate this as a giveaway on the show. So he
10
will
out of
continental
10.
U.S. only.
10 out of 10.
He's not sending it to Pengo Pengo
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, having Howard on tonight, man, that was awesome. Especially being retired, like, what a trooper to join us, you know?
Mhm.
That was great.
It was great.
It was great.
Yeah, Howard's amazing. He's amazing, and yeah. See, originally we did I was going to do a podcast exclusive with him. It was just going to be a podcast. So we actually did something on Monday, and I was going to post that as a premiere coming up. But then a couple days later, Howard's like, "Hey, let's do it live. You know, let's do it. Do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it live. Sounds like a lot of fun." And look at this. This actually was much awesome, if that's English. Okay, 21 entries. Hashtag the
Awesomeness.
Chad. Awesomeness. Awesome sauce.
Exclusively.
That's right. Okay. All right. 22 entries. Actually, I mean, there's a way you can tell.
It's the 2006 catalog, Bruce. Where is it?
Photoshop.
Hold on.
Cut and paste. Put it close
There I
and
am.
pull it back. Oh, look at that.
The guy on the top.
The guy on the top.
Yeah,
me.
that's you.
And Mike
Top.
below. So there it is.
Awesome,
Bruce. Go
man.
to 06.
Awesome. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
I got my Jay Hannon wristband right here.
20.
Is it a Gizmochi one? Oh. Got to wear the wristband on the right arm, man.
Sweat.
Yep, a little bit higher too. Not covering the actual wrist. I don't like it there. I like it a little bit higher. Yep.
Right there in the jackal area.
Yeah. Shackle. It just makes you look like you have a huge hand, you know, when you're it's like, damn, that dude's hand is huge.
I mean, look at that thing.
Yep.
It's bigger than my face.
Oh my gosh.
That's what she
All right.
said.
30 entries. You guys ready? This is for that Van Halen. What was it? Encyclopedia?
Yeah.
1984 trivia book.
1984 trivia book. There we go.
Thank you again to the Chad for donating that. All right. Here we go.
Oh, Rick Green.
Rick
Winner.
Green. Rick Green. Let's see.
At least we know he's in here.
I don't see his name on the list as a previous winner.
All right, good.
So-
He gets it. Rick, where do you live?
Rick Green. And you're here, right? There you are. I see you. There you are, man. All right. What you can do is you can message me an address, and I will get that over to Jay. He'll get that to Kurt with a K. He'll get that over to Kurt with a C, and then he'll get that back to me, and then we'll get that to the chat.
Yes, that's perfect.
6 separations.
There we go. Rick Green, congratulations, man.
Thank you, Chad, for
Yeah,
the donation.
Chad's an awesome dude, man.
Yeah.
He's in Raleigh,
wow.
North Carolina.
Cool. He's like, what? How far away is that from me? Like 4 hours, maybe? Something like that?
Oh, you drop it off.
Shut
No.
door.
Nah. The only thing I'm dropping off is back there in the back.
In the boom boom room.
Boom, boom.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I got a boom boom room, but it's not a bathroom.
Oh my goodness.
Very, very proud of you.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you. All right. What else? Was there anything else? Yes. Oh my gosh, where are my notes? Okay.
You know, I had an unboxing, but I didn't think we'd have time for it tonight.
So you unboxed it already?
No, I didn't. It's still sitting down there. Still sitting down there.
Maybe tomorrow night.
It'll be open tomorrow. I can't wait that long. I want to try the thing out.
Is it cool?
It's not a guitar.
Oh, wait a minute.
Do you want me to open it?
Oh, the boom boom
Sure.
room.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
open the boom room.
In the
Boom,
chat,
boom,
do you
boom,
want to
boom,
see an
boom.
unboxing?
Yeah.
Jeannie, is it okay? Jeannie, it's an early birthday present. Jeannie, can I would you be cool if I opened it on the air tonight?
Which was Jay's nice way of saying, Jeannie, can you please bring it up to me so I don't have to get up?
I don't want to be on camera.
Just come on camera as me. It's all good.
There you go. Get the hat, put the 5 o'clock shadow makeup on. She said no. Okay.
Oh. Shot down in a blaze of glory.
It was an ejaculator. That's why.
Gosh.
Fleshlight. Personalized, you know.
C3PO, the 13
Yeah, Johnny,
incher.
you could edit that out of the podcast version if you want, or edition of this episode if you want.
Mm-hmm. Well.
Oh, she said yes, duh. Okay. I'll go get it. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
Okay.
good show. Good show, Johnny. That was great.
Thank
Howard
you,
was
man.
awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
Howard. Howard's amazing. Just incredible. Oh no. Okay. All right. So I guess I've got an announcement. I guess. This is anybody in the chat. If anybody knows anything about this, contact me. Okay. You know, there's a phone number right over there. You can message me.
What's up?
Does anybody know anything about this? Okay, you guys know all about the 300 Frankenstein replicas that Fender built, right?
Yeah.
There was 300 of them. Supposedly, there was 3 that were built that either weren't a part of the 300 or they were like the first 3 or something. And supposedly, one of them was used in a movie. Okay. If anybody knows anything about this, contact me.
Johnny, let's talk in the green room.
Okay. Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Because a friend of mine called me last night, and he was asking me if I knew anything about this, and I'm like, no, I don't, but I'll put the word out. So, Thomas Santiago, thank you so much, man. I don't know the movie. I have no idea, but supposedly there was a
Frankenstein.
a Fender Frankenstein, like possibly one of 3 of the 300 or before the 300 that was used in a movie, supposedly. And does anybody know anything about that? Either about that guitar or like the movie or any info on that?
Man, you think we would
Let me know.
be referencing that movie if anyone would have seen a striped guitar in it other than
Right.
the claymation.
The hamburger dude, yeah. Yeah, I have no idea about this. I have no idea, but like I said, a friend of mine called me yesterday asking me if I knew anything about it. And I said I would put the word out. So I'm just asking for a friend, as you would say.
Step class. Is
What
that
is
that
this?
step aerobics? He's on mute.
Remember them shits? The stepper? The step?
Yeah.
No.
Leg warmers.
Hold on, I gotta get my label off of this thing.
Yeah, be careful. Okay, I'll be right back too.
Oh, now you're going.
Yeah, it's all this Lemmy LaCroix.
Yeah, I peed.
Oh, hula hoop.
Ooh. All this Remy LaCroix.
Get it
Now,
out
where's
of here.
where's my blade? Let me get my blade.
Away from the face.
That's right. Where the frig is it?
Check the boom boom room.
Sometimes I have to cut my pants off. I got to go so bad. Here it is. I found it. Okay. Well, maybe I should. You know what? I'm going to turn the blur off on this thing because it doesn't.
Is that the Ibanez version of the box cutter? It's yellow.
Yeah. Hold on. Is this going to work? What's going on here? All right, it's not working. Oh well. All right, cool. So there's that. Should I do it now, or should I wait for Johnny to get back?
Yeah, we got time. Did you get my Strange Brew reference?
When earlier? Yeah, I was gonna do the same thing.
Take off knob.
Yeah. So here we go. So I'll start cutting it.
So this is a birthday present?
Yeah, well, when I placed the order for this thing, it was out of stock, and my Sweetwater rep, a real doll, I wish it was, they said it wasn't going to be in until March, maybe April. I was like, all right, cool. My birthday's in April. Perfect, right? So it got here yesterday. It was supposed to get here 2 days ago.
Is it a pedal board?
Out for delivery. Never showed up, so it got here yesterday. God, I can't open anything right now. Hold on.
It's not a guitar stand because I know you got one for Christmas.
No, it's not a guitar stand.
Open it up.
Any guesses though?
Pedal board.
Oh, who said that?
Me.
Oh. Is Johnny here? Don't we have to wait for Johnny?
Check the packaging. See if it's 2 boxes.
That's one. I see the
louvers.
Is there a T? Is there a...
That's big.
That's what. Well, maybe that's not what she said.
Yeah, just do it. You're isolated. Oh!
Kapow!
Wow!
What is that?
Wow!
Controller?
Yeah.
MIDI.
Bit of honey.
Oh my tooth!
Goddamn bit of honey's in there. Hey, you need dental work?
My
Now you
bicuspid.
Yeah.
Take one bite.
Yep. You do now. So
Look at that.
Yep. Let me get this box out of the way.
Box.
So here's this.
Dude, this is like Christmas.
Now,
What's
this
that
thing
for?
they've made this thing for a while now, and so there are actual. There's a couple companies who make mod chips for these things. That because I guess supposedly these things are really really hard to program, and I'm an idiot. Whoa.
The mod squad.
Yeah. So they make mod chips for these, and I guess they're really easy to install. You just pop the back off, you pull the chip out, you put a new one in, and it makes them, you're able to like really, really get in and program these things. And it, you can, there's an app, or not an app, but a program you can download to literally do it on your computer. Let me get this thing out of the box.
Don't wear flip flops when you do it.
Yeah.
Make sure you're grounded.
Put my hand behind my back.
Flip flops in water.
Stand in the kiddie pool.
Oh, God.
Where the hell's the
Larry's still in here. What's up, Larry?
Hey, Larry. Larry's still looking for his gear, right?
He's talking about lobster pot pie.
What?
Lobster pot pie. Hey, Lawrence. Hey, good to see you, dude.
Look at this thing, man.
Dang.
Wow. This is
Who makes
It's like the old line 6 one. So is it a volume and a wah?
Well, you can it's basically just 2 expression pedals, and you can
It's
assign
anything.
them to whatever you want.
Oh, okay.
So you can literally make it adjust to like the amount of reverb you want, or like you said, a volume or a wah. I've been using those the Neural DSP plugins. That's pretty much what I want to use this for.
It's compatible.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, supposedly it's really a pain in the ass to program it, but because it doesn't have any super modern connections. It's got MIDI expansion, so if you want to add 2 more expression pedals,
Express
Audio.
yourself.
switches, whatever. Power.
Okay. Oh, cool, man.
So yeah,
So
it
that's
doesn't
a
have like
Christmas
Ethernet,
present?
doesn't have Bluetooth, it doesn't have USB, like any of that stuff.
HDMI.
Yeah.
Dial up.
So, I'm excited to get this thing working, because right now it's like when I'm using these programs, I'm using the standalone versions on my computer with my Pro Tools interface coming out of my monitors or whatever. And if I want to switch sounds, I have to stop playing. I have to go to my mouse. I have to click on the presets, drop down menu. So I want to be able to. Hey, Jeannie said, wrap that shit back up. I'll wrap you up.
Wait, that's a birthday present or something?
Yeah.
And
When you
your
were
birth-
gone, when I explained that when I ordered it, like a month ago, or maybe no, it was the beginning of
ruined your
January. I ordered
birthday.
it. And Sweetwater told me that they weren't supposed to be back in stock until like March or April. So I was like, all right, cool. I can wait. No big deal. And the next thing you know, I get Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Monday. I got an email. Oh, your Sweetwater item is shipped. I'm like, what shipped? Like,
At least they sent you something.
hey, I'm very proactive with Sweetwater.
Mine took a year to get here.
Well, it didn't take Kurt a year to send me these. Kurt, thanks again.
Hey, now.
Yeah, and some of the also the the volume pedal, I'm really, maybe if I'm recording or something, I'll use it for like volume swells.
Yeah.
But like other than that, I'll probably have it like I know the Gojira plugin or amp, the Neural DSP one has different like a whammy effect one. You can do stuff like that with it. So and the
Cool.
Petrucci one comes with a wah, which will be cool. So yes, so you're
Nice.
using that in
Nice.
conjunction
Is it
with the
heavy?
Neural plugins. Yes. I mean, if I could lift it, it's not heavy. It feels well built though. It doesn't feel like a thin piece of like. It's not like aluminum. Or it might be. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not a Digitech.
No, it's definitely not a Digitech. So, but I'm pumped, man. This should be very cool. Very cool.
Nice. Very cool, man.
Yeah, so basically, I guess you just take the screws off the back, you pop the back plate off, and then there's a small little square chip somewhere in this area. You pop it out,
Never had a
and
chip.
you put this like $30 mod chip that basically updates it, and then you can use it. Gives it so many other options as well. It gives like you can use one row as like stomp boxes. So if you have a a main sound or whatever, and you want to like your rhythm tone, right? But you want to use the same amp, same kind of settings. You can add, chorus. You can add reverb. You can add delay just by.
I have a question. Can you turn every preset
Octave.
there? Can you turn like every pedal there into a metal zone?
I would love that.
Yeah, or rat pedal.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Dude, I still remember the Metal Zone was the first pedal I ever bought, and I was pumped.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I
dude.
loved it.
But I'm sure we all have the same experience, right? Sounds great in the bedroom. You scoop the mids. You're like, this sounds awesome. And then you go play with a band or even just a drummer. You're like, I can't hear my guitar. My amp is
Same.
cranked. Yep.
Yeah.
Quentin James, you're right. Jay probably shouldn't be taking.
I had the
stuff
Dana.
apart,
The
I
what?
had the Dane Electro Black Coffee, which was the metal one. It was the same thing.
The big one? Did you have the
Yeah.
ones with the artwork on them? Yeah, with the
No,
artwork.
it was just black.
My friend did the artwork for, I think, the sitar one. Did you ever see that one?
Yeah, they had a bunch of them.
Yeah. My friend actually did the actual artwork for that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, they were going for like a 50s vibe, right?
Huh? The sitar? 60s.
No,
It's
the pedals.
It's
the actual pedals themselves.
yeah. 50s, 60s. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it, Howface. Yeah, I think that was it.
Does anybody have any experience with these things? Who wants to do a FaceTime? How do I turn this on?
Just don't open it up and start messing with the tubes inside. That's not good.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
No, very cool. I mean,
Awesome.
Jeannie, if you want me to box it back up and wait until my birthday, I can. It's no big deal. Because you know what happens, right? Jeannie does this to me all the time. It'll be like a month or so before Christmas or 2 months before Christmas or her birthday. And she'll be like, hey, is it cool if I want this for Christmas? And I'll be like, okay. She's like, but it's on sale now. I'm like, all right, well, get it. And that's your Christmas present. But she already has it. So I can't have her open up nothing on Christmas. So she ends up getting something else. And I'm sure I'm guilty of it as well. But that's how they get you. I want this for Christmas.
Double dip.
Oh, I love them. Never mind.
Just get two of them.
Just order two, Jeannie. You can open one now and open one on Christmas morning.
Yeah, you can always, whatever it is you like, you can always use two of them, no matter what it is. I mean, look at this. Two.
Whoa, easy.
Two.
Look at this. Two. Everything. 4.
G2 gel pens. Those are the best.
Except I'm missing one. It's already opened it. I couldn't wait. Yeah, I had to use one. Cool.
Well, tonight was a great show.
Is that good? Yeah, tonight was awesome.
Yep.
You guys, if you weren't here, you missed it, but you can watch the rerun. And Howard, just
what the hell's a rerun?
Dude. I don't know.
Raj and rerun. Dwayne Wayne.
I don't know. But thank you so much, Howard Kaplan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I think this was like one of the first things he's ever done. I think, as far as like public speaking or whatever. I think that so very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. The replay. That's right, Janice. That's right. That's right. And so, again, really quickly, if anybody knows anything about a Frankenstein from Fender guitar that was possibly used in a movie, get a hold of me. Let me know. And just asking if that's legit, if that's true. And then Stephen Rosen will be here to talk about his book, Tone Chaser, Understanding Edward, My 26-Year Journey. Stephen Rosen will be here February 11th talking about his new book. And
awesome.
I pre-ordered mine yesterday. Kurt with a K pre-ordered his yesterday. So
Music Therapy Laz is just on time. Good night, everybody.
All right, goodbye. Laz, you missed it, dude. That amp that you just bought, the guy that designed it was just here.
Yeah, he designed it.
You missed
He had his hands all up in it.
And he said the one that got sent to that guitar center where you bought it from was defective.
Oh no.
It was made in Vietnam.
That one. Don't buy that.
It was made in Vietnam.
Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, channel members here on Johnny Beane TV. Thank you so much for all your support. And again, there's a few names I need to add to that. I will promise I will do that this weekend. I will get to it, and I will reorder that. So Steve Carmichael is the very last name on there.
Full slug.
And full slug. Thank you so much, dude. And we will see you guys tomorrow. You guys know we'll be live tomorrow for It's Saturday Night with your host, John BL. And there we go. Looks something like that. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you, JJ. JJ, dude, thank you for all your help too. JJ, thank you so much. We're trying to figure out a problem I'm having with a piece of gear, and it's just driving us insane. But JJ, thank you so much.
That's cool, dude.
We were on a private call in the Discord for like 2 hours, whatever night that was. And Symmetry, with Symmetry. And,
Ding.
yeah.
Smitty.
Paulie Walnuts, great talking to you today, man. Great talking to
Johnny
you.
just making the rounds, huh?
Yeah.
I like to talk to all of my
Get
friends.
around.
All right.
All fans.
All right. All right. We'll see you guys later. Symmetry. I'll see you over on Twitch in a bit. Rock on, dudes. Johnny Beane TV. Bye.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Gross. Gross. Man, there's the amp right there. That thing sounds incredible, dude. That thing sounds amazing. And Laz owns it. Laz, when I get back up there, yeah, we're gonna crank that thing, man.
But don't do it until
Crank it,
Johnny gets
Lazar.
there. Don't play it.
Yeah.
Don't touch
All
it.
right.
Will you stop touching me?
Don't touch me.